Fine. You know what? Fine. I'll just get back in the goddamn rowboat. Jesus Christ. Yes, it's that time again, and it's time to potato around in a boat with Hadders. But today, I'm going to share some of my concerns with the game. Today, for the first time, I've decided that it is time to share what I think may be an upcoming problem. Now, this game I've decided to highlight because it actually shows my point pretty much perfectly. I'm here in the Yugumo, and my intention is to obviously do as much damage as I can. I fly with the 8-kilometer torpedoes, and so I have to get unbelievably close, but they are bloody fast and devastating when they hit anything. Now, this is before the latest patch, but this game still highlights what I'm going on about, because in this game I barely fire my guns, and when I do fire my guns I get seen. Now, the problem with the latest patch is you are spotted the instant you fire your guns, particularly in Japanese destroyers, and from what I've found since I've been playing in the new patch, the American destroyers. Once you open up, everything sees you and starts lighting you up. And that's great, you know, now the destroyers are getting their comeuppance, so to speak, for trying to stealth torp, or trying to stealth fire. But it just doesn't work. It just means that you can't fire your guns anymore, ever. Particularly in the Japanese boats, every time I fire my guns I get obliterated, and in my opinion it's just not worth it. Now, you see, so far what I've done is sped the game up, because for the first almost 10 minutes of this game, I think it even is 10 minutes of this game, I just completely fail torp everything. I don't hit a damn thing, but you know, I try. They ran out on the first ship there, the Des Moines dodged them. It's just not going very well for me, and I think this may be a sign of what's to come. You almost have to torpedo, particularly in the Japanese ships. You just have to fire away torpedoes the whole time, which is fine because its torpedoes are okay, but at the same time it just gives you no flexibility to actually use half of your ship's ability, i.e. its fucking guns. The guns are on the ship for a reason, right? But no, you don't get to use them anymore. Unlucky. Now, I'm going to slow down the game here and stay at normal speed, because this is where it all sort of kicks off, and quite quickly you'll start seeing what I mean by this may be a problem. Because the problem that Wargaming have identified in the past is that battleship players and cruiser players don't like suddenly getting nuked by loads of torpedoes, and you know, I've been on the receiving end of it. My main sort of in tournament battles is battleships, but just look at the state of this. This guy, no chance to dodge, bang, gone. He might have known about me before if I'd fired my guns, but no, I just stealth torped the living hell out of him, and he got absolutely annihilated, and there was nothing he could do about it. Now, unfortunately, for the rest of this game, that's pretty much all that's going to happen. I'm going to spot people out, I'm going to guesstimate where they're going, and I'm going to nuke them. And there's nothing they can do about it. And there's some rage in chat, which I'll highlight, and I don't want to highlight it because I want to sort of bring anyone out. I don't want anyone, you know, to sort of have a go at these people. These people are frustrated, and I understand why they're frustrated, because I've been on the receiving end of that. And there's nothing more infuriating than sailing along, doing your business, even playing quite well, and then out of nowhere some arsehole in a destroyer completely obliterates you. Unfortunately, that's the way the game works, and that's the game mechanics, and there's a few ways you can get around that. You can hang out with other ships, you can not sail in straight lines, you can use your hydro, but not every ship has hydro. Sometimes you're just concentrating too much on enemy targets to not sail in straight lines, and sometimes there's no other ships with you. I mean, a great example at the end of this game is one of the enemy destroyers just buggers off to the north and leaves his battleship to die. And unfortunately that's just what happens. You can't rely on your team sometimes. Now, this Otago, he's playing pretty well, but I start seeing him turn in and I bang the torpedoes away. Now, these torpedoes are so unbelievably fast that they're going to reach him before he knows what happens. And so you see him turning in. He tries to volley me. I pop smoke at the appropriate time so that he can't even fire at me anymore. I get away a couple of cheeky shots, but just look at those torpedoes. There is nothing he can do. He's going to die. He gets eliminated. And that's my second kill. Just by using a little bit of sort of common sense and guesstimation on what he's going to do, I figured he'd turn away from the ship he was fighting, so I fired them where I fired them. Now, in chat, I'm going to bring this up now. He calls me a cheater. Now, I don't know what possesses him to call me a cheater, but I do understand, as I said previous, that he is just unbelievably frustrated that a destroyer has appeared out of nowhere, dropped torpedoes on him, and then just annihilated him with no warning whatsoever. Again, as I say, it's just a thing in the game, and in destroyers, me personally, there's nothing more satisfying than nuking someone. My favourite, as you all know, is to just charge them and then nuke them, but stealth torpedoing someone is one hell of a way to kill someone, and it doesn't actually happen that often, but these days it's almost going to be the only way you can do it in Japanese destroyers particularly, and they have the worst torpedoes of all. Their torpedoes are very, 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 they hit hard. And I'm not sure it's the right way to go. I don't know what else to say, really. I think that, you know, destroyers should be able to have their own abilities, and they should be able to, you know, torpedo people, because that's pretty much the only thing they can do at the moment. But I mean, I know a lot of battleship players, that's what they complain about. Not getting stealth fired and set on fire all the time, although that is bloody annoying. The mainstay of their complaints is, well, I just got nuked and I couldn't do anything about it. Now, the third target I line up on is this cruiser, the Rune. And he, you know, again, minding his own business, he's doing his own thing. He's actually not been sailing in straight lines, but I got him sort of worked out, and I decided that he's just going to go straight at that guy. He's not going to, because he wants to stay angled to the guy, which is fair enough. So he's not going to dodge or weave or do anything too serious. So these torpedoes, again, are just smack on target. And 1, 2, 3, gone. He had no chance. There was nothing he could do about that. And again, he comes up in chat with, I believe it's something along the lines of "suck a dick," which, you know, isn't helping anyone. And again, I can see his frustrations. And I believe he's going to start talking about why destroyers are overpowered. And this, as I say, is before the latest patch where destroyers got their ability to stealth fire removed. And it's going to pop up any second now. He actually says, bye bye OPDDs. And I think what he means by that is, you know, you can't be overpowered anymore once you can't stealth fire. And, you know, partially he's right. Certainly with ships like the Gearing that rely on being able to stealth fire with their guns, they're not going to be as potent. However, I point out, which is totally true, that, well, it doesn't affect destroyers like this. I'm still going to be able to stealth torp, because I'm just not going to fire my guns, which takes a lot of the fun out of the game for destroyer players, because, like, why would I now ever fire my guns? I just have to wait for 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes every time till the torpedoes reload, and bang! I can just obliterate people with complete impunity, and there's nothing they can do about it, unless they're lucky and have radar ships or what have you nearby. They're not even going to know I'm there, which is sad, really, because it's a pretty crappy way to have to play. But, I mean, it's great fun when you annihilate someone, but it's not fun for them. And in a certain degree, it's not fun for you, because as I say, you're just waiting for 90 seconds to 2 minutes before you can fire each time. And if you get it slightly wrong, or if the guy has hydro, or if he sees you, then he can counter you straight away, and you can't do anything about it. So, I don't think it's the right way to go. I have no suggestion of what you can do instead, unfortunately, but I think the game personally was fine with the stealth firing. I don't think that was a massive issue. And I think the impotence of Japanese and American destroyers now is a problem. Because now, as an American destroyer, you're a glorified smoke bot, and you have some okay-ish torpedoes. As a Japanese destroyer, you're a torpedo boat. Period. Now the Russian destroyers haven't really suffered for it, because the Russian destroyers had pretty bad detectability anyway. So when a Russian destroyer fired previous, they got spotted regardless. And so that hasn't even changed. Now they are still spotted, but because of their ability to maneuver with their rudder shifts and their speed, it's actually quite hard to hit them. So that's where Russian destroyers live, so they haven't even been affected really. What Wargaming are doing is they're actually going to make the rudder shift on the tier 10 Russian destroyer worse, which I don't understand. You're basically taking away its only true ability to be able to fire away. So are you going to turn them into torpedo boats as well? Is that what you want? Do you want all the destroyers just to be torpedo boats? Because that's kind of boring. And the battleship players are still going to complain, because they're just going to get nuked. So the last battleship here, I start lining up on, and I decide, well, I'm going to get dangerously close before I have him. I'm going to use my speed boost. I'm going to get as close as I can. I'm going to pop the torpedoes away, and I'm going to destroy you. And I do it again. I line up on the marker and then behind the marker, so that when he turns away, which he will, he'll get hit by the second set of torpedoes. Unfortunately for me, they're not going to hit him because I'm going to run out of time in the game. They are perfectly on target. As you can see, he's going to get wrecked, and that would have been my Kraken. But what a sad way to play, and the game ends. Now, I am going to show the post-battle results, but I'm actually just going to use this time to flesh out more of the problems I've seen coming up. Now, some of the cruisers are going to suffer with this as well. One of the guys in the game there was saying that cruisers are rubbish. Now, that iteration, now they're much more sort of affected, but cruisers like the Zhao and stuff can't self-fire anymore, which takes away a big part of the way they played, although to be fair, they were overpowered. What I foresee coming up that may be a problem now is that particularly British cruisers and any cruisers that have smoke can still self-fire, because they've got smoke. They can just pop the smoke and sit in their smoke and stealth fire away to their heart's content, whereas other cruisers can't. And some cruisers, particularly ones with no armour, like the Des Moines, are possibly going to suffer for this, because, well, there's just not much you can do. Not that it had a great stealth fire window before anyway, but I think the problem lies in now when you fire, someone could be, just on the edge of your spotting range, and you're going to stay on that spotting range as long as they stay close enough to you, and it just allows the enemy to completely crush you at any time they wish when they're within your firing range. And I'm just not sure this was the right way to go. I mean, removing stealth fire was a reasonable thing to do, and I think that Wargaming had their reasons, and that it wasn't a terrible idea in some ways, but in other ways it's going to really misbalance the game. It's going to throw it off kilter, and I just don't know where it's going to go next. So this video was just to bring up some points, really, my concerns. I'm not having an argument. I'm not saying Wargaming are crap. I'm not doing any of that rubbish because, quite frankly, I don't believe in it. I'm just going to state my opinions and see if it sparks any conversation. I mean, feel free to put what you think at the bottom of this video. By all means, in the comments, say what you think about these changes and let me know some of your experiences. And that's it. So I've been Hadders. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've sort of learned a little bit from my rant, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.